First of all, each country has to have its priorities in developing its economic goals and objectives and systems. When I look at Egypt, China, the BRI, and our economic plans, it's important to take into account our 2030 economic plan. It synergizes very, very well with the BRI initiative as well, because our plan, given Egypt's strategic location, focuses very, very much on enhancing our infrastructure, on enhancing Egypt as a hub for logistics, trade, and commerce, because of the Suez Canal and because of our port system, of enhancing, of building new cities. We are a very rapidly growing population, and we have a number of mega projects that focus on infrastructure, and that's also consistent with BRI in many respects. When I look at that kind of goal for Egypt, and I look at what the BRI could provide for Egypt, it meets very easily, and that because of that, there are some really major significant projects. China's construction companies are working very heavily in the new capital there. So it's completely consistent with our objectives. Now, it does not necessarily mean that in all aspects, China's priorities are the same as Egyptians or vice versa. But we respect each other's programs, and we try to make the best of compatibility where it exists. First of all, let's not forget that Egypt was the first Arab country to recognize China in 1956, because politically we understood the Chinese rights. At the same time, we understood the potential for cooperation. China was also very supportive of Egypt in several crisis points, all the way back to when Egypt was invaded during wars. So the history goes back a long way. Your president gave an exemplary speech at his meeting with the Arab Summit in Saudi Arabia, where he really used the right tone and the right phrases by emphasizing shared objectives, shared interests, respect for each other, trying to resolve and achieve security through dialogue, but resolve the conflicts based on international law, and with reference to the Palestinian case in particular. And it's a reflection, again, of we want to build a better international environment for us all, not against anybody in particular, but for us all. And that approach allows countries like my own in the Arab world to take advantage of Chinese expertise, Chinese resources, Chinese markets. It also allows China to take advantage of Arab location, Arab energy sources, Arab markets. This is not, again, a zero-sum game. As long as we work together, we can always find projects that serve both of our interests. When I first arrived in China, we had had some difficulties with some economic projects. We had had 2 revolutions in 2 years, so our economy was stalling a little bit. And I arrived there, and Chinese companies were saying we should be fined because we're late. The truth is we were late, but we had 2 revolutions, so there was a logical reason why we were late. And when I raised this with the Chinese authorities, they were very understanding. And not only did they cancel the sanctions, they actually offered Egypt a a pleasant gift that he could use for science and research during the visit, with the understanding, of course, that we would deal as quickly as we could with the corporate issues, and we did. So again, there was on our side a respect for our obligations. We corrected that, but there was also on the Chinese side an understanding that certain events may create some challenges, and we need to take into account each other's circumstances. And that's why our relationship with China is so good. And it has expanded comprehensively and strategically in a multitude of areas over the last decade.